name's Jay, and today we're going to be playing some Jurassic World Evolution. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building a sandbox park on Isla Sorna, using the new map and the new aesthetic from the Jurassic Park DLC, the Return to Jurassic Park DLC. And I'm super excited. I just played through the story campaign for the DLC. It's amazing. It is such a hit of nostalgia. Absolutely blown it out of the park with this DLC. It's really quite excellent, I do have to say. The new dinosaur skins are amazing. The fact that we have an aviary now with pteranodons, brilliant. All these new Jurassic Park assets, it's just perfect. This is everything I've wanted from this game from the start. And now Jurassic World Evolution is one of my favourite games. And although I do agree that with people when they say that it's not quite as deep a game as we might otherwise want, I still love it. I still think it's great. A lot of the problems I have with it are the problems I have with the Jurassic Park franchise, with dinosaur designs, etc. But these are not problems which detract from my enjoyment of the franchise and therefore does not detract from my enjoyment of the game. I love playing with all these different dinosaurs. I love, using them in the park, building habitats for them, even if they're not the most scientifically accurate. Now, if you know me in person, you know that I love dinosaurs. I've loved dinosaurs since I was a kid. Nothing's ever going to take away my love for dinosaurs. They're kind of like my thing. I spent pretty much my whole childhood obsessed with these long dead creatures and just learning everything I could about them. So you might think that I would have more of an issue with the inaccurate designs because I'm really big on paleontology. I like keeping very up to date with my knowledge of all these different species, the latest information on how they lived, what they looked like. All that stuff was really important to me. It still is really important to me. But again, I don't think it detracts from the enjoyment of the Jurassic Park franchise as a whole. At the end of the day, there's always that argument that, these things aren't meant to be real dinosaurs, they're meant to be genetic hybrids, etc., etc. All that aside, I just like it for the concept. There's this inherent beauty to the idea of bringing back these long dead creatures. And while I would like them to be more accurate, I still think that main concept of experiencing these beautiful animals that have been long gone in a way that makes them feel so real, like in the first Jurassic Park movie, or even in this game where you get to kind of look at them up close and have them behave like animals, I think that has value to it. And I think that makes up for the fact that maybe they don't look entirely like real dinosaurs, Speaking of real dinosaurs though, whenever Prehistoric Kingdom comes out, that's going to be amazing because their dinosaurs are pretty spot on. So, that too. But yeah, let's talk about what we're doing here. We're going to be building on the Isla Sorna map from the new DLC, which might come as a bit of a surprise if you've played through it, because the Isla Sorna map is quite a weird one. It's all twisty and turny, and there's not a lot of really large open spaces to be building on, like the new Isla Nublar map, which is tremendously big. It is amazing. The size of it is brilliant, and I will definitely play through it at some point, because it just looks perfect for pretty much squeezing in every type of dinosaur in the game. You could probably manage that. But I just like the challenge with this particular map, and I love the scenery around it. It's such a atmospheric map. You have all these areas of fog that pocket the landscape. You have these waterfalls. You have an overlook down these cliffs into the bay. I think it's a perfect place to build a park. What you're going to see me doing today is specifically building the park infrastructure. So all the guest buildings, all the operational buildings, getting some of the tour routes in place, putting up the aviary, but no dinosaurs or creatures just yet. So as you may have seen me do, I've put down the arrival helipad, the power station, and a couple ranger stations. Now you may find it odd that I'm putting two ranger stations right next to each other. It's just primarily an aesthetic choice, because if you add upgrades onto one ranger station next to another one of them is going to look quite different than the other. If you upgrade it, it gets this taller watchtower and a couple of additions here and there. And when you put it next to an unupgraded ranger station, they kind of look like two different buildings, which is why I did that. A lot of this series is going to be focused quite a lot on aesthetics over function, which is why I put down the power station, despite the fact we don't need power in sandbox mode. It's just so that, we have something cool to look at, kind of fills out the park more. and just looks really good. And just to add on to that, all the buildings in this new DLC look really good. They're very much based on the 1993 Jurassic Park aesthetic, so a lot of thatched roofs, a lot of big concrete blocks, wood here and there, the really old looking power station. It all looks quite appropriate for the era, and I wanted to use all of these in different ways. Kind of show off all the new assets that we get. Even the paths, I really like the new paths that we have. We have these really nice stone paths. In fact, I get a really good look at them in the cinematics later on, where when we zoom in on one of the paths, you may notice we actually have these little metal Jurassic Park symbols, with a T-Rex skeleton, embedded into the paths, which you may not notice unless you zoom in really close. Very cool stuff. You also may notice I'm putting in these lights everywhere because we have received new lights, and these lights are just really cute, and I like dotting them around. So the park's going to look pretty cool at night, I think. Aside from that, I also really like the new visitor center that we got. Well, I say new, but it's technically, old. It's from 1993. Again, very cool. I love how it looks. While I do like the Jurassic World aesthetic because I like modern looking things, I am not a fan of the Jurassic World movies, unfortunately. They just... they're something, aren't they? I don't know why they've gone for the decision of making it so that the dinosaurs are more like action heroes than animals. It's kind of weird. It's a really weird choice in my head. Obviously, it's probably, it sells merch better, I guess, if you have individual dinosaurs with, personalities and stuff. Well, I don't think it's entirely the best choice for the franchise. Just kind of makes it feel a bit weird. And while I still watch all these movies and I still appreciate some of the choices they make, for example, in Jurassic World, I really like the theming of whole, messing with genetic power we don't understand, etc., etc. I thought that was all quite cool, but just, I'm not a fan of the new designs. I just have to say them. Even in Jurassic Park, I actually genuinely liked a lot of the designs, even though they were outdated for their times. The first 3 films, you had some pretty cool designs that, while not accurate, at least looked like animals, you know what I'm saying? The Spinosaurus looked like it could behave as an animal. Whereas if you look at Blue in these new movies, Blue the Raptor, she's got a giant head. I know it's weird, but all these new dinosaurs are like weirdly skinny with really big heads, and they look kind of emaciated and a little bobbleheady, which I am not a fan of. I think that looks really weird. But yeah, my rant aside, back to the build that we're doing today. You may notice that I'm putting down the tour ride between the main guest-facing area, an introductory area where you land on the helipad, and the aviary area. This is because I noticed the path was getting a little bit long, and although you can't have multiple tour stations, I kind of, in my head canon, any bit of the tour with a concrete track acts as a stop, and you can get off the track there. Obviously it doesn't work like that in the game, but kind of helps in my head make it a little bit more justifiable to have these things at such a long distance. But yeah, that's pretty fun building on this map, I do have to say. Even though it's not a big flat area, I really like the aesthetic of the place. And you may notice that I'm dotting redwoods everywhere. These redwood trees are by far my favourite part of the new update. They're just beautiful. They completely change the aesthetic of your parks, just entirely, because they look so good. And I just love them. They're going to be everywhere in this park, so keep an eye out for... Well, you don't have to keep an eye out, they're just kind of there. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Again, it's not very focused on any particular dinosaur. We'll start with dinosaurs in the next episode. And the whole series, I think, isn't going to be particularly long. Probably something like 4 or 5 episodes. Just because, again, smaller island. It's not as in-depth as, like, my Planet Zoo videos. But still a good game. And still something I enjoy. And I'll be showcasing all the new dinosaurs that we've got. I mean, the new skins, the new creatures. We'll kind of plop them in the park along with some of my old favourites from the other DLCs or from the base game. And yeah, we'll just kind of enjoy this park. I hope you enjoy this. The cinematics are coming up in a second. And if you liked all this, please do subscribe for more content. I do Planet Zoo, currently Jurassic World Evolution. And maybe in the future I might do some City Skylines as well, which will be a little bit fun. So, thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!